Hi everyone, Rochelle from Sprouting Paths Homestead here. I am in my awesome greenhouse. It is actually, I think, 15 degrees outside and a very nice and comfy 50 degrees inside this greenhouse. So being that it's a beautiful sunny day, I wanted to film this video out here and use this greenhouse as much as possible, even if I don't really have it filled with plants yet. So anyways, this video is going to be about my garden planner that I'm using for this year. And I'm going to show you the layout of our garden area that I have drawn, mostly through Excel, and added in some custom areas. So I'm going to show you that. And I'm also going to show you how I organize all of my seeds. I recently changed the method of organization that I've been using for actually two years. And so I'm going to show you what I used and what I just switched to and kind of the pros and cons of both. So stay tuned. So this here is what I am using as my garden planner for this year, 2022. It's not an official garden planner in any way, shape, or form, but I was gifted this planner by my mother-in-law for Christmas, and it's absolutely beautiful. And it has like these really pretty flowers on it. So you excuse this snow that's melting and falling off the roof of the greenhouse. So if you hear crunching and sliding, that's the few inches of snow we received here in upstate New York. So that's that. Anyways, so this planner I got for Christmas, and I decided to make it into my garden planner, and I decorated it with these awesome stickers from Root and Refuge Farm. I really adore these stickers. They have such pretty stickers. So I took them and I decorated this planner to make it unique and make it like my special little garden planner. I especially like this one that they have, Wild and Free, with the mason jar with the flowers. Like, it's just awesomeness right there. So I am utilizing the pockets that are right in front of the planner to hold my garden layout and any receipts that I want to save. Now, in this planner, there was like a notes section. There's like a dozen or so pages that were labeled for notes. I took that and I wrote down all the different seed varieties I'm going to be using for this 2022 garden. I put down the type of vegetable or fruit, and then I followed it up with the variety that I ordered or plan to be growing. And so I have a few pages of all the different vegetables or the fruit, followed by the variety. So it keeps my head on straight when I'm going through seeing how many varieties I am going to be starting and how many of each variety I might want to start, dependent upon how much space is available in my garden. So, I mean, all sorts of different fruits, vegetables, all the way down to the different flowers or herbs I plan on growing. Now, the next section I designated as my seed starting section. There goes that snow again. There's a lot of it coming down. Anyways, so this is my seed starting section. So anything that I'm growing this year that doesn't get directly sown into the ground and that I'm starting from seed, I have listed here. So, you know, my onions, sweet peppers, hot peppers, those all need to be started pretty much early next month here I'm in zone 5B. I start my peppers and onions very early, and I found great success by doing so that they're more mature, and I just pot them as needed. And that gives me more peppers in the long run. So I just put in the extra work and effort and time. But anyways, so things that I have to start 8 to 12 weeks before our last frost. The things that I start 6 to 8 weeks before our last frost, and things that are 3 to 4 weeks before our last frost. I put them all here in order. So I have a clear visual. I know I'm going to be starting from seed. And likewise, anything that I am going to be directly sowing into the ground, I am going ahead and putting that over on this place, my direct sowing. So I know the different types of fruits, vegetables, herbs that are getting directly sown are all listed here. Things like your peas, beans, radishes, things like that. It's a clear visual. And I also have them labeled by the month. So in April, I know I'm going to be directly sowing things like those peas, my tatsoi, potatoes. And then in May, the sunflowers, the beans, the cucumbers, things like that, I'm going to be directly sowing. And it's all right here. Now, the next thing I did with my planner, I took the part of the planner where it has the whole month basically mapped out, like in calendar method here. And I filled in when I'm going to be starting seeds, when I'm going to be sowing seeds, when I'm going to be transplanting plants that I started from seed. I have the month right here. I can see the whole month. I know what I'm going to be doing for the whole month. And it's right here. I even color coded it because I'm crazy like that. I'm very visual, and if I see the color, it helps me correlate it to what needs to be done. So like in February here, I have it. So I know when I'm starting my peppers and my onions, the salvia, different things like that. And then, like every planner has the calendar, you then get the daily or the weekly section of your planner. What I like about that is I'm going to plan to use it as a journal. So I can log what I do for that particular day. So say on it's February 12th and I start my peppers there. I can log down, I started them, how many. I can put down all the details that I need. So if I need to remember something, I have it written down and it's the exact day that it happened. And this will carry over through the growing season. If I go to fertilize or water the plants in the garden, I can quickly jot it down in my garden planner, what I fertilized, what got watered. And it's all in one small spot. And that's been a big issue for me. I don't really care for journaling, and I don't care for having an app on my phone either to just, type something in. But if it's convenient and easy for me and it's pretty concise and in one spot, I can do that. I can have this with me. It could be in my garden bag. So that's so convenient just for me to quickly write something down, and all of my other garden stuff is connected to it. It's convenient, it's fast, it's easy, and organized, which I like to be. So that is my plan for this garden planner that I created from just a standard planner, really beautiful planner. So here again is just another example. Here's March. I'm starting a ton of things in March here in zone 5B, getting my tomatoes started and everything else. So I now know when I'm going to be doing that. And then the day that I actually do it, I can write it on the daily part of this planner, and I have it logged. So as far as planning the garden and what I'm going to be planting or sowing and where that's going to go, last year, Joe basically was like, you need to plan. You have so many things you're trying to plant. I need you to sit down and plan. And I hate doing that. I don't like planning. I'm very spontaneous. I can be impulsive. I just want to go out and just get the feeling and plop something in. And that's not always 100% successful. So I give it to Joe. He's right. You do need to plan. So I do probably 80% of the planning that's needed. And then I give myself the flexibility to shift things around when needed, or put something in that I just last minute decided to grow, or I spotted at a nursery and thought it would be cool to stick in my garden. I give myself that 20% flexibility. So last year, Joe helped create an Excel file and basically tried his best to get our garden to scale in an Excel file. And for the most part, he did. Now, since last year, there's been some changes. So I had to go back in and I edited some parts, or I added some parts in through using like Paint 3D on the computer. I just went back in, made another box where a bed was put, and that was that. So let me take you through and show you all the different parts of my garden layout. So this is what I worked on for a few days, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So let me walk you through it. So this right here, this section, boop, that there is our main garden area. Okay, in here we have elderberries and blackberries and raspberry bushes, and I just kind of color coded what I plan to put into different spots. And for example, I have the peas right here. I'm going to be using some of my grow bags, and I'm going to use the medium size to grow up this TP area that the boys created last year. So I put down here, I'm going to be using 2 medium grow bags and where I plan to put them. And then in my other beds, I just put what will be there. We have strawberries in the middle of our hugelkultur bed. So I'm going to put some bush beans around the perimeter. And then over here, I kind of have some carrots, beets, and kale, kohlrabi, some different spots. We have our 2 pawpaw trees. We have a blueberry area that we have, and our wildflower areas and our herbs. I'm going to be putting a cattle panel trellis going from here to here, where I'm going to have some pole beans. And I'm going to do the same thing right here with another cattle panel trellis. Here, I'm going to have some cucamelons, those Mexican sour gherkins, on a trellis as well. I have garlic planted there and there and there. I have spots for tomatoes. And here you can see this is where some of our cucumbers are going to go, where our early radishes, our spring radishes will be kind of plopped in. Over here, my tomatillos are going to be put into some grow bags like last year. They did fantastic. They're going to be near the comfrey that I planted. So everything kind of has a nice spot, but I do have some open areas to fill in if I decide to change my mind or want to put something else in. You can see here I'm going to do some early beets and then put in my pepper plants, because those beets can go in, be harvested before the peppers even need to be put out. So that's kind of the main garden area. Now, if you come on over here, this is our straw bed area right in here. This is, I want to say, our Ruth Stout method-ish area. So as you know, we've kind of expanded it. It basically had stopped here, and then I expanded it and started putting more straw and hay out. So now it's much, much bigger. So in here, we have these little dots are some peach trees that we started last year from some peach pits. So those are actually put into there. Now, I'm going to put some sunflowers around. I have our melons on a cattle panel trellis, our watermelons, our winter squash. I'm going to do some potatoes in a Ruth Stout method way, covering them with a broken down hay. I'm also going to do the grow bags with potatoes like last year. That worked fantastically. I'm going to do some summer squash and our pumpkins. So this area with the straw gives those vining vegetables and vining plants a way to really sprawl out if need be. They can sprawl all over that hay and straw if they like. Also, I am getting some sweet potatoes this year. We tried them last year. They weren't as successful, but I think that was my fault. I didn't really fully understand how to do sweet potatoes. So we are trying them again this year. And as you can see here, there are some things I still didn't plan where they would go. Because honestly, when it comes to these types of plants, it's more of a feeling thing for me. I go in and I'm like, okay, you will go here. You're going to grow well here, or you make a great companion plant for this. So let's put you here. So that's going to, pretty much be a last minute placement. And that's okay. That's where a lot of the fun comes in. And then over here near the house, I plan to put some of these because we do have a small bed near the house. We do have the greenhouse too, which I might try to utilize. We have the deck, and I can put plants in pots on the deck. So I like to utilize all the space that I have, and in a wise way, where I know it's convenient for me to step out and snip up some lettuce for our dinner, and it's right out the back door. So we got a couple different things in here that will probably be closer to the house. So that, in a nutshell, is our 2022 garden plan. Okay, so now that I walked you through basically how I garden plan, at least for this year, and the garden layout and plan for this year, let me show you how I organize my seeds. This has been kind of a trial and error, and let me show you what I've been doing for the past few years, and we'll take it from there. All right, so everybody's pretty much familiar with these craft and photo keepers that you can find at your craft store. A lot of people like to use these for seed storage, and they're awesome for seed storage. I've really enjoyed using them. Now, one of the big pluses that I always enjoyed with using this system is you just open it up and you can organize it in any way you want. And this container, like I had this one for my cosmos. So this container, I could just pull out. I could take it to the garden. I can put in my seeds, do what I need to do with it, and then just bring it back instead of carrying around a whole bunch of different seed packets. So that was one of the biggest pros about using this system for me. It kept them organized. It kept them dry. It kept them pretty much safe, kept them at a good temperature because I kept them in the basement, in a dry basement, and it really is nice. Now, one of the downfalls of having so many seeds is I needed 4 of these suckers to keep all my seeds in. And lugging, these boxes up and down from the basement just to go through and organize was a bit tedious. And, this took up a lot of space on my bench downstairs, not gonna lie. So that was one of the cons for me. Because of the amount of seeds I have and the seeds that I save, I needed more. Now, I had these containers. I didn't go out and purchase these. I had them because I used to teach online English classes to children over in China. And so I actually stored a lot of my teaching materials and props in containers like this. So I already had them, and so I used them. And I really think they make for an excellent seed storage system. Now let me tell you why I switched. So those containers are amazing for organizing your seeds. However, being as bulky as they were, having 4 of those containers, I needed something that was a little bit more compact and something I could just easily store even on just my bookshelf. So I am trying for this year how to use a 3-ring binder for seed storage. So all you need to do is buy some of these pages that go into photo albums. These are the 3.5 by 5 sized pages for the 3.5 by 5 photos. So I bought that size because that gave me 4 spots on each page rather than 3 for a 4x6. And so far so good. I do like this system because it compacts it down. And it's still keeping them in a good condition. They're in their original seed packet. You can easily flip through and you can see visually all the different seeds that you have. Whereas in the container, they were all basically, you know, bunched into one of the small inserts. And you would have to pull that out and then flip through all your different varieties that you may have. This is almost like a photo album of seeds. Very pretty. Something you almost might want to put out on your coffee table because it's so fun to look at least for us seed lovers. So this is really awesome. I am enjoying this system. I am just starting out using this system, but it's such a pretty way to view all of your seeds that you have and to visually see what you're going to be starting or planting. So I have to say, this definitely is a contender up with the photo and craft keeper containers. Now, what I did do to organize them even more is I have one binder for my herbs and flowers, and wait for it, one binder for my fruit and my vegetables. Yeah, this one's a little bit bigger, as you can see. And that's why I needed another binder. But irregardless, it takes up much less space as compared to the 4 containers that I had. So as you can see, much more compact. So in here, in my fruit and vegetable binder, I have pretty much them organized by like the type that they are. Like I have all my roots in a section, the greens in a section, tomatoes, cucumbers, melons, you know, kind of the basic. So it's really, again, very pretty to look at. I will say the only downfall, and this might be because of the size pages that I bought with the 3.5 by 5, might work better with a 4 by 6, is when you get to say like your beans or your peas or your squash seeds. They are bulkier seeds, right? So they do bulk out a bit more from the photo pages. So they make it, they don't lay nice and flat. They're gonna stick out just a little bit more. That's not a huge problem as long as you don't have a ton of seeds in a packet. Like I save a lot of different seeds, and I saved some squash seeds, and I had a whole bunch of them. And I tried to, you know, put them into a slat, and it was just like so bulky. It didn't work. So I'm actually going to be putting them into a seed envelope and seeing how it plays out. And maybe I'll just have a page or 2 devoted to a couple different winter squashes, and, you know, whatever, that's fine. That to me is actually the biggest downfall of using the photo pages, is really just the bulkier seeds. And the bigger sized seeds. But other than that, so like I even have one, you know, seeds in here that I saved, like the Mexican sour gherkin ones. You know, I just have them in a Ziploc baggie, and they're wrapped in a paper towel to keep them dry, and I just slid them in. And that's not bad. That's not really bulky. The bulkier ones really come in your, let me show you, like these kabocha squash seeds that I have here, right there, you know, they're a bit bulkier. So that's gonna bulk out your page a little bit more. But let me tell you, being able to flip through my seeds and see them visually, it's like artwork. It's so cool. And, you know, I think people like us who, you know, spend our money on some awesome seeds and some beautiful seeds, or we save our seeds. We took the time to save them, and they mean so much to us. To be able to flip through and like have that visually displayed, it's just like an extra bonus to have these. And I like to show off my seeds. When people come over who are even like halfway into gardening and seeds and seed saving, I pull out my seeds. I brought out my 4 containers, pop them on the table, and I start dealing out seeds like they're a deck of cards. It's it's so fun. So I hope this video was helpful for you, giving some ideas on just what I use for organizing our seeds and for planning our garden, having a place to keep all your notes, all of what you need to do for this gardening season, to help, you know, us all be the most successful gardeners and growers that we can be. So yeah, you know, here's to the 2022 gardening season. It's right around the corner. We're almost there. Before you know it, the snow will be gone and we'll be back into playing in the dirt. So stay tuned, because I think my next video is going to go over some of the seeds I actually purchased for this year. I'm going to go over some seeds that I really like, and then I'm going to go over some that I'm excited to try that are new this year. So that'll be really fun. We can sit back and chat about some different seeds. But thank you again for joining us here and for your support on our channel. It really means a lot to Joe and I, and to Max and Sam, to have y'all stopping by. All right, take care. Bye-bye.